Alright, in this video we'll see how to add a button that will display the size chart. So here this is the button. If I click on it, you'll see the size chart related to this image. So the point here is whichever product it may be, we want a place where we can upload an image, and that image we want to show in our single product page. The single product page is this one where your product information is displayed. So when I click on the link or a button, the image should show up in the pop-up. So that's the point. So now to create, here we have three different steps to follow. The first step, we want to display this section on the general tab. So on the general tab, we have to render an HTML. So in the HTML we have the text field and the button. So when we render, we want to store the value in the database. So that's the second step. The image that we have uploaded, we want to store it into the database. So that's the second step. So when I click on update button, a hook would be called, and that hook which will fetch this value and store it into the database. So that's the second step. And the third step is, since we have inserted, we have updated the database, now it's time to display the saved data in the front end. So the front end is this single product page. In WordPress term, it's called single product page. And over here we want to display our saved values in the database. So here what we do is, we'll simply add a button, whichever place is convenient for us we will add. If you want this just below your title, just below your price, just below your short description, just above your add to cart button, just below your tags, or anywhere over this place, it's possible. The major point is, how are we going to display this in the single product pages? As of now, I have chosen this button. When I click on this button, the image URL that got stored into the database, so this is the image URL that got stored into the database, it would get fetched, and with the help of JavaScript we will use a pop-up, and in the pop-up we'll just display the images, and that's it. So if you wish to change the image, so let me choose some other image. Let me pick this placeholder image and click on select, and if this is the first step, and if I click on update, the second step will get executed. The data would get stored, and once it got updated, we have to refresh this page, and as a third step you will see the image would get updated. Cool. So without wasting time, let's get started. So first thing, we want to show our plugin in this plugin section. So let me deactivate the old one so that it doesn't create conflict. So it's WooCart. So actually I have named it wrong. It should be WooChart. Now let me create a new file, and that file should be inside your plugins folder. I have set up my WordPress locally inside WP content, inside plugins. Let me create a new file, new folder, and we'll call it as size. And we need to create a file which is PHP file similar to the folder name that we have created, size.php, and it's all files, it's PHP. Now we want to give the information about the product, about the plugin. So the name, description, the name, the version number, and that can be given with the help of PHP. That can be displayed with PHP comment. So here Woo size, and this is the version number, and this is the author, and if you make a refresh, you'll find your plugin in this particular page. Woo size is our plugin. So what I need, well, let me just activate it. As of now there is no code, there will be no effect, but in the product page I want to add a field, and that field would be on the general tab. So WordPress has a hook. Let's use that hook, and that hook is WooCommerce product option. WooCommerce product option, general product data. So it's general product data. If you want this to be in the inventory, it would be inventory product data. If you want it into the shipping, it should be shipping product data. That's the only difference. Now let me just call this function show size, and in this we want to render an HTML. To render an HTML, WordPress again gives you a function. Let's use that. So we have a function called WooCommerce wp underscore text underscore input. So we have the text input option here. Also I want the button, so the button is also displayed here. So in the input field I want the ID. So this ID is nothing but your unique ID of an input field. Along with that, when saving into the database, this will act as a name attribute. So when you save it into a database, this you need a name attribute on the input field, and that name attribute would be this, and this is a label and this is a placeholder. So if you refresh, you'll find your input field along with the button on the general tab. So in the general tab you'll find the input field and the upload button. So this isn't enough. This is just the first step, and it will just render the HTML. We want to save the value when I click on update. So when I click on update, what should happen? So WordPress gives you again a hook. So all this data which you enter in this particular page will get stored as a product object. So here we want to modify the product object. Also before that, when I click on upload image, there should be a pop-up. So that pop-up is actually the WordPress Media Library. So we want that. So for that, what we'll do is we'll use the jQuery to display. When I click on the button, I don't want the page to get reloaded as it happened now. I want to stop the page getting reload, and I want to get the input field. Now get the input field. You can see I have used ID. So this ID is actually this ID, and I'm going to call the WordPress Media Library. So we have already seen multiple times. So when we select, let me just save this and show you in front end. When I click on it, I want the title to be select image, and I will be just able to select only one image. So that's why it's false. If I click on upload image, you will see select images. So this is coming from this title, and when I select, I want the URL of the image. So that's what this function does. So it will start a state, it will get the first selection, and it will convert into a JSON, and it will store it into a attachment variable. And this with the help of attachment variable, we will have access to all the information like the name, the alt, the title, the caption, the file URL. I just need the file URL, so I'll just use attachment dot URL. So now once it's done, we'll be able to have this URL on somewhere on this input field. Let's make that. So on this input field, I have added the attachment URL. So that's why you are able to see. If I select this one, and let's check the name, it's black hyphen t-shirt, and if you see again, it's black hyphen t-shirt that got selected. That's how we use the media library API to get the images and get it into the input field. Now it's time to store. So store is also very simple. As said already, it's again a hook. So that hook is called WooCommerce admin process product object. As I said, every data in the product page is considered as a product object. So process, this is simply the hook that they have named it in this way. We will have access to the product object. So now, as I said, along with the product object, what I need is I want to update one more input field. So that's what I'm doing here. Update one more input field, and that input field name attribute is this one. Let us just check whether the name attribute is F12, and we just want to check whether the name is the ID itself. You can see this is ID and this is name, so both are common. So we'll use that post PHP super global variable. As you know, when we do CRUD operation, the post is the one which stores all the input field value, and we can access it by name attribute. And I'm updating it with the help of this update function, which is provided by WordPress itself. It takes care of sanitization, it takes care of coarse, nonce, everything. That's the reason we prefer using this function. Now it would get saved. So we have chosen black t-shirt 2, and if I click on update, I hope I have saved it. If if that doesn't work, we have to do it again. So let's just see whether, yeah, in fact it got saved. Let me just select one more, and let's make this the name is actually sc.jpg. Now if you take a closer look, we'll find the sc that got updated. So the second part is also done. Now on the third part, we want to display a button. So let's display a button. So the placing of button is decided by the hook that we are going to add. So get into this website, visual hook guide, and on every field, on every element you see here, this is image, this is title, this is price, this is short description, this is quantity, sorry, this is add to cart button, and this is quantity, and this is tags. For every element that you see visually here, WordPress has a hook. So this is the hook for thumbnail, this is the hook for the single product page, this is product title, and this is short description. And after short description, if you want to add some values, here in this case it's going to be button. So we'll call this hook and attach our button to it. Similarly, if you want this to be the button that you have created to be after cart button, we'll use this hook. And if you want it to be after the tags, it's going to be WooCommerce product meta. So let's use this hook for now, and I'm using this hook. Now what we need, so we have stored the value into the database. Now we need to fetch that value. So with the help of product global object, we'll fetch the value which we have saved here with the help of this update meta product. Now it's get meta, and we would simply have a button. So this is a button, view size chart, and this is a modal div which holds our stored URL. So with the help of CSS and with the help of JavaScript, the model is going to work. So let me just refresh this page. You will see your button right below the meta tag, and if you want your input field right above your title, we'll need to use this hook, and just refresh it. You'll find this actually just above hook. It's not possible, I guess. It would be possible, but we need to find a way. So let's try this. So it's most of a trial and error work, and you find it over here. And if you want it just after everything is done, so we can use this hook. So you should find after the tab. So it's just a trial and error. I'm leaving it to you. Focus and make use of it. So to display the button right after this title, the WordPress gives you a hook. So let's call this hook WooCommerce single product summary. So WooCommerce single product summary. So now we have already tried, but it is going and it is showing us after the price. So here we have a priority. So this gets the priority 5, and right after that usually we have a rating, and right after that we have price. So these is 5, and the rating has 10, and this has 20. The price has 20, and this is what it is saying. The template title is 5, and the single rating is 10, and the single price is 10 again. The single excerpt, I guess the excerpt is this one, the short description, is again getting 20. Now if we want this to show above price, so we have to make this less than 10. So let's try over here. As a third argument, we need to send 3. Let's say 3. So it's not 3, it's 8. Let's make this 8, and if I make a refresh, you should see our data